Have you ever walked into a room in your home and felt just a little overwhelmed? Like something's pressing in around you, even if you can't quite put your finger on it? Maybe it's a closet that won't close all the way, a drawer that jams because it's too full, or a shelf that's become more of a museum for forgotten things than a useful space. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. As we get older, our homes can slowly start to reflect all the chapters we've lived through. And that's a beautiful thing, until the weight of those years starts making daily life harder instead of easier. What once felt like treasured keepsakes or useful items can over time turn into clutter that quietly drains our energy, limits our freedom, and even increases our stress. That's why experts, and many wise folks who've been through it themselves, recommend this. Before you turn 70, take time to declutter. Not just to clean up, but to lighten your life in ways that go far beyond your physical space. In today's video, we'll explore 6 specific things you should consider letting go of before 70, starting with the ones that most people don't even realize are holding them back. And let me be clear, this isn't about getting rid of memories. It's about making space for the life you still have left to enjoy. A life with more ease, clarity, and peace. Let's begin with something that might be sitting right next to you, or maybe even under you. One of the most common and overlooked forms of clutter in a home is worn out or unused furniture. It's easy to let it pile up over the years. That extra chair in the corner, the big coffee table nobody really uses anymore, or the couch that sags in the middle and hasn't been comfortable since 2003. We get attached to these things. Maybe they were a gift. Maybe they've always been there. Or maybe they remind us of someone we loved. But here's the truth. Furniture that no longer serves you, physically or emotionally, takes more than just space. It takes energy. It makes your home harder to clean, harder to move through, and in some cases, even harder to relax in. Think about it this way. Every object in your home should earn its place. If it doesn't bring comfort, beauty, or purpose, it might be time to reconsider why you're keeping it. I once spoke with a gentleman named Howard, 75, full of stories, and deeply sentimental. Over the years, his living room had become crowded with furniture he rarely used. There were 4 chairs, but he only ever sat in one. A side table with a broken leg, a cabinet full of dishes he hadn't touched in 10 years. His house had started to feel more like a storage space than a sanctuary. One day, his grandson tripped over a footstool while visiting, and that was the wake-up call. Howard started small, just one room. He asked himself a simple question for each piece. Does this still serve me? If the answer was no, he either donated it, passed it along to someone who needed it, or said goodbye with gratitude. By the end of the month, not only did his home look better, it felt better. It was easier to move around, easier to breathe, and easier to enjoy. That's what decluttering is really about. Not getting rid of things for the sake of it, but making your space truly work for you. So, if there's a recliner that hurts your back, or a table that collects dust more than memories, consider letting it go. Your body and your peace of mind. Thank you. Now let's talk about something a little more personal. Clothes. Take a moment to picture your closet. Is it overflowing with items you haven't worn in years? Do you still have dresses or suits from decades ago just in case? What about shoes that pinch, pants that don't fit, or sweaters that haven't seen the light of day since Y2K? Let's be honest. We all hold on to clothes for reasons that go way beyond practicality. Some remind us of who we used to be. Some represent moments in time. And some, let's face it, just haven't been dealt with because sorting through them feels like a chore. But here's what experts say. Your wardrobe should reflect the person you are today, not the person you were 20 or 30 years ago. And especially as we age, comfort and simplicity become even more important. You deserve clothes that feel good on your body, are easy to maintain, and make your day-to-day routine smoother, not more frustrating. I met a woman named Elaine who shared her story with me. At 68, she had an entire closet packed full. There were wedding guest dresses from the 80s, jackets with shoulder pads that hadn't seen the sun in 30 years, and shoes that looked stylish but hurt every time she wore them. She told me she'd stand in front of her closet every morning feeling overwhelmed and still say, "I have nothing to wear." Eventually, she decided to do a closet cleanse. She made it simple. 3 piles. Wear often, maybe, and let go. The let go pile was the biggest. And once she donated or discarded what she no longer needed, something shifted. Getting dressed became easier, laundry became easier, her mornings became less about frustration and more about ease. That's the power of thoughtful decluttering, especially with clothes. It frees up more than just space. It frees up time, confidence, and energy. And here's a little bonus. Donating gently used clothes means someone else gets the benefit of them, too. So if you're staring at a wardrobe full of clothes that don't fit, don't feel right, or don't bring joy, it might be time to say goodbye. Let your closet be a reflection of the comfortable, confident, current you. Now, let's open a drawer you probably haven't checked in a while. The bathroom cabinet or that little storage box under the sink. Inside, chances are, you'll find a small collection of items you meant to get rid of long ago. Expired medications, old ointments, dusty vitamins, half-used skin creams, and maybe even a bottle of cough syrup with a label that's faded from age. These may seem harmless, but they're more than just forgotten bottles. According to health experts, holding on to outdated medications and expired toiletries isn't just unnecessary, it can actually be dangerous. Medications lose potency over time, and in some cases, can even change in chemical composition. That old painkiller you've kept just in case might not help anymore, and worse, it could harm you. Now I get it. Most people save these things out of practicality. Why waste it? I might need it someday, they say. But here's the problem. Someday often never comes, and in the meantime, you're giving up valuable space and possibly putting yourself at risk. There's also the emotional aspect. You might find a bottle prescribed during a difficult time in your life, a surgery, an illness, a period of struggle. Holding on to that bottle may seem harmless, but subconsciously, it can act as a reminder of pain or worry. By clearing it out, you're not only making room in your cabinet, you're making room for healing, for moving forward. Let me tell you about Irene, who's 71 and still incredibly sharp. One day, her daughter came to help her reorganize the bathroom. As they opened drawers, they found medication that had expired nearly 10 years earlier. Irene was shocked. She thought she'd been organized, and in many ways she was. But like so many of us, she'd simply forgotten what was tucked away. They spent an afternoon reading expiration dates, tossing what was no longer safe, and creating a clean, streamlined space. Irene later told me that it was one of the most empowering things she'd done in years. "It felt like I was taking back control of my own health," she said. "Now I only see what I actually need and use. No more clutter, no more confusion. And it's not just about meds. Let's talk toiletries. That lotion from 2006? Toss it. The perfume that went out of style with disco? It's probably turned. Skincare and beauty products have shelf lives too, and old ones can irritate your skin or even cause infections. So here's something you can do today. Grab a small trash bag. Go to your bathroom or wherever you store personal care items. Anything with an expired date? Out it goes. Anything that smells off, looks strange, or you haven't used in over a year? Let it go. You don't need a shelf full of maybe. You deserve a cabinet full of yes. Now, let's move to something even more invisible, but just as powerful: paper clutter. If you're like most people, somewhere in your home, maybe a drawer, a filing cabinet, or even a stack by the kitchen phone, there's a pile of paper. Old bills, outdated receipts, greeting cards, warranty manuals for appliances you no longer own. It starts out innocent, but over the years it grows. And one day, you find yourself digging through papers from 1985 just to find your current insurance information. Decluttering paper may not sound glamorous, but it's one of the most freeing things you can do. Why? Because every piece of paper you keep is something your mind has to register. It's visual noise. And when there's too much of it, it can create mental clutter that follows you from room to room. Think about this. Have you ever delayed opening mail because you didn't want to deal with what was inside? Or put off sorting your paperwork because it just felt too overwhelming? That's not laziness. That's clutter-induced stress. Let me share Frank's story. At 74, he prided himself on keeping everything just in case. He had boxes of bank statements, receipts from stores that no longer existed, and tax documents from 4 decades ago. But when a storm caused a leak in his basement, where most of it was stored, he was forced to go through everything. At first, he felt panicked. But then, as he sorted through old folders, something shifted. He realized that 90% of it no longer served a purpose. He kept what truly mattered: recent tax files, medical records, legal documents, and shredded the rest. In the process, he discovered something else: clarity. For the first time in years, he knew exactly where everything was. No more searching, no more guessing. And the bonus? With today's technology, you can scan and digitize anything truly important. There are even apps that help you organize documents on your phone or computer, so you never have to rifle through paper again. If you want to start, choose one small pile, maybe the drawer near your bed or the mail stack in the kitchen. Ask yourself, is this something I've used, needed, or looked at in the past year? If not, let it go. And if you're worried about throwing something important away, scan it or snap a photo. You'll still have it, just without the physical mess. Clearing out paper clutter isn't about being perfectly organized. It's about giving yourself permission to stop carrying the weight of what no longer matters. And that freedom, it's priceless. Lastly, let's step into a space that many people love but few keep simple: the kitchen. Oh yes. We're going there next. Let's now step into a space where love is cooked, memories are baked, and clutter quietly multiplies. The kitchen. If you open your cabinets and drawers and find gadgets you've only used once, or not at all, mugs stacked 5 rows deep, or plastic containers with no matching lids, you're not alone. Most of us accumulate kitchen items over the years, out of habit, nostalgia, or the hopeful belief that someday we'll need that fondue pot or electric egg cooker. But here's the truth: a crowded kitchen makes daily life harder, not easier. And the older we get, the more important it becomes to simplify our environment so that cooking, cleaning, and even reaching for a bowl doesn't turn into a frustrating scavenger hunt. Let me tell you about George. He's 76 and loves making breakfast every morning: eggs, toast, a bit of fruit. But every time he reached into his kitchen drawer, he had to dig through 3 different egg slicers and 2 broken spatulas just to find his favorite spoon. One day, while trying to pull out a pan, he accidentally knocked over a leaning tower of mismatched Tupperware, and that was his moment. So, he made a plan. Every day for 1 week, he tackled 1 drawer, 1 cabinet. If it hadn't been used in the past year, he asked himself, do I really need this? Do I even remember the last time I touched it? That juicer from the 90s? Donated. The pots with broken handles? Gone. The drawer of orphaned lids? Emptied. And you know what happened? His kitchen started to breathe again. He told me, now when I cook, I enjoy it more. I'm not frustrated. I feel in control again. The key here isn't perfection, it's intention. If your kitchen is full of just-in-case items that you never use, they're not helping you. They're slowing you down, mentally and physically. Your space should serve you, not the other way around. And here's something to remember. It's okay to let go of things you spent money on. You already got the value out of it, maybe in the trying, the learning, or even in the lesson that you didn't need it after all. Letting it go doesn't mean you wasted money. It means you're choosing peace over pressure. So take a peek in your kitchen, the mugs, the utensils, the expired spices from 2003, and start asking simple questions. Do I use this? Do I love this? Is this helping me enjoy my day-to-day life? If not, release it. Your future self will thank you. Now we're at the last, and possibly the hardest category of all, Sentimental items. Old birthday cards. Your children's art from kindergarten. Souvenirs from that once-in-a-lifetime trip 30 years ago. A teacup from your mother, now chipped but never used. These things aren't just objects. They carry memories, feelings, even identities. And yet, those very items can slowly fill boxes, shelves, closets, creating weight that we carry every day, whether we realize it or not. Here's what I want to tell you, gently but firmly. Your memories live in you, not in the objects. Let's talk about Helen. She's 78, and after her husband passed, she held on to everything. Every note he ever wrote, every souvenir from trips, even his favorite coat, which hung untouched for years. At first, it comforted her. But over time, the house began to feel crowded. There were boxes everywhere. She began to feel stuck, like her home was no longer hers, but a museum for a life already lived. So, with the help of her granddaughter, she began to sort through it. Not to erase the past, but to honor it by choosing what mattered most. She kept a few letters, his watch, a photo album that always made her smile. The rest? She let go. She donated what could be useful. She took photos of special things she didn't have room to keep. And slowly, her home began to feel lighter. Not empty, just clear. Now, she told me, I can walk into any room and feel present, not buried in yesterday. This process isn't about being ruthless. It's about being intentional, keeping what serves you emotionally and gently releasing what doesn't. Ask yourself, if you had to move tomorrow into a smaller home or assisted living apartment, what items would you truly need to bring to feel joy, connection, and comfort? Often, it's fewer than we imagine. You are not dishonoring your past by letting go. You're making room for the life you still have ahead, room for new memories, space for rest, and energy for what truly matters now. And if it helps, involve someone you trust in the process, a child, a grandchild, a friend. Sometimes having someone to talk through those decisions with makes all the difference. Now, as we wrap this up, let's come back to the heart of it all. Decluttering before age 70 isn't about minimalism or trends. It's about creating a space and a life that supports who you are today, not who you were decades ago. It's about making room for ease, for comfort, for clarity. And it's about choosing, every day, to surround yourself with what truly matters, not what you've outgrown. Take this as an invitation, not to throw everything away, but to reflect, to choose, and to reclaim your space. One drawer, one cabinet, one box at a time. If this video has inspired you, I'd love for you to leave a comment below. Let me know which item you're starting with, or how decluttering has helped you feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications. We're building a space here, just like your home, where you can always come for guidance, encouragement, and inspiration. Because no matter your age, your story is still unfolding, and you deserve to live it in a home and a heart that feels light, open, and full of life. Here's to living with purpose, with peace, and with just the right amount of stuff.